Hey guys, welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, and today is our board game chit chat, which you guys voted on for the topic today. So just want to go ahead and let you guys know, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And in the comments section, tell me which game you bought out of FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, which game did you buy impulsively because of FOMO? Go ahead and put that down in the comments section. Do want to also remind you guys to check out the Patreon and check out our membership that we have. Any donations, not donations, they're not donations, but in any way that you guys can help out financially, it'd be a great asset to this channel. My next goal that I'm trying to do is get a new camera so that I can, make some really high quality stuff. Everything that you're watching currently, if you think that this looks nice, which I'm not so sure that it does in comparison to other YouTube channels, everything is shot on an iPhone, and it's not even the newest iPhone. And so I want to upgrade. I want to go ahead and get a new camera. So if you guys are willing to donate to that cause and you want to become a member, there are some monthly perks that you will get, including some badges and different things that you guys will be able to utilize, and super chats and super thanks, and all of those things are super helpful. We're going to be doing a lot of videos throughout the week, thinking of doing 3 to 4 videos per week. Again, these memberships are going to help put those things together. So if you guys want to, you can, but if not, that's not why we're here. You are here because we are talking about what you chose, and that is how to avoid FOMO. So right here in front of you, you guys can see that I have Too Many Bones. I just got this in the mail, actually very recently, and I can tell you right off the bat that I'm going to love this game. Absolutely love this game. So for Board Game Chit Chat, if you've never seen these videos, what we like to do is we like to just unwrap some games while we chit chat about different topics. And we're going to be talking about FOMO today. So I'm going to go ahead and take out some of these expansions that I got. And because I feel like being Alex Radcliffe, I'm going to take out this gigantic knife. For some reason that he always uses, but we don't need that. That's so. He always has that really crazy knife. I have X-Acto blades, but I always laugh whenever he's gonna unwrap things, because he always unwraps them with this gigantic knife, and I always find that very funny. But anyways, FOMO. Let me start off this conversation by talking about this game. I saw this game on Kickstarter, because it was on GameFound rather, and it was very hard to find this game. Like, Too Many Bones was very difficult to find. I did not find this out in the wild, and by out in the wild I just mean going to your friendly local game store. I couldn't find a copy of Too Many Bones, and I had been wanting this game for quite some time, and so I had been seeking it out, looking, searching, trying to find used copies of the game to see if that would help, but just nothing was helping. And so because of my inability to find this game out in the wild, I ended up just kind of wanting to back the GameFound for it, which to me was a good idea at the time. But one of the things that bothered me about this campaign specifically is that once this I had ordered the Kickstarter, the GameFound, shortly afterwards, this game became available in the wild at a cheaper price than I paid for it on GameFound, which was one of the things that I guess bothered me. And I think that's one of the things to consider when it comes to FOMO. It's like, how do I not fall into that? One of my pieces of advice, by the way, this purple dice look really cool. This is one of the characters, Nugget. Oh, okay, so it just comes with, there's no chits in here for me to pop out, so I guess that's pretty much it. So one of the ways one of the things I always have to constantly remind myself is, when it comes to GameFound, I think and Kickstarters, any kind of crowdfunding, is the first thing you need to consider is the company that's producing it, right? So more now than ever, I've been seeing a lot of conversations about companies that are going under, game companies that are producing games and they produce a game, they take your money, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, well, we're not going to produce the game after all, and you lose your money. First thing you guys, and again, I've seen a lot of people complaining about this, but again, that's one of the things that Kickstarter and GameFound say right off the bat. Just because you buy something on these platforms does not guarantee you're going to get a product. That is a scary deal. That's like, man, I'm going to give you... Could you imagine that happening with like a Marvel United Kickstarter pledge that all of a sudden, you know, Simon or Come On Games, they just tank out of nowhere, and you paid $600 for a game and then you're out $600? I could not imagine the grief that I would feel in that moment, knowing that that money is not coming back to me and I lost that. So everybody who's lost money this way, I feel you. I am not against you at all. I completely agree with a lot of the arguments that I've been seeing. But again, it is a risk that comes with it. So it's like, that's something you have to prepare yourself. If I'm going to buy something on Kickstarter or GameFound, I have to make sure that the company is reputable, right? So for example, if it's a company that's never made a game before and this is their first time, they're a small little business, who knows if that game is actually going to successfully launch and if they're going to have the actual manpower to make sure that that thing launches. I'll tell you, I was a little nervous about that with the game Beast, which is up here by Studio Midhall. I think that was the first game that they produced, was that game. So that was a risky game to back. But one of the benefits of that was that I got the Kickstarter edition that, you know, is, oh, you know, one day I'll get my money back on this. You know, that's the hopes of it. But, you know, when it comes down to backing on Kickstarter, this was a risky back. Right, because I don't know if the company is actually going to be able to produce those things, right? Like, because game companies are coming and going a lot nowadays. With Too Many Bones, though, this is more of a reputable company, right? Like Chip Theory, they've made a lot of games, and I don't see them as a company that's going under. So that's a pretty safe back. Come on, they always come through on their promises, even though, you know, some people think they charge too much. Some people think that they're kind of shady with the shipping and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of things to be said about some of these other companies that are out there, and we can talk about that in a moment. But when it comes to like FOMO, man, like one of the main deterrents for FOMO is to say, hey, look, is this company reputable, right? Is this a company that I know I'm going to get my product? In that case, sure, back it, right? But that doesn't mean you have to back everything. I think that was another thing, even with Too Many Bones, that I had to think about was, hey, Too Many Bones, they have made 1 million expansions for this game. So those expansions, another thing I have to ask myself is, am I only going to be able to get these expansions from Kickstarter, or am I going to be able to get them in stores? So with Too Many Bones, I've seen that they sell the expansions on their website. So getting the base game for me was pretty cool, because now I'm like, hey, if I like this game, I'll buy the expansions and I know that I can get them. So now another company that you wouldn't be able to do that with is Simon. For example, with Come On or Simon, I don't know how to say it, I say Simon. But with them, all of their expansions for their games, they don't go to stores vast majority of the time. Some of them do. I know with like Rising Sun, you can find the expansions in the stores, but with Marvel United, you can't. Like, there's only some expansions that make it to retail, and a lot of them don't. So in that case, it's kind of like, okay, that's where the FOMO starts to set in. This is the only place where I'm going to be able to get it, and that's why I fall into a lot of these Kickstarters or a lot of these GameFounds, because they say this is an exclusive thing you can only get through Kickstarter. The second question, or third question, I don't even know where I'm at right now, but that you would have to ask yourself is, well, how much is this going to add to the game, right? Like, for example, Marvel United. The base game of Marvel United by itself is not enough of a game for me to recommend that as something that you should buy and go, hey, this is going to be great. Just buy the Marvel United base game and you're going to love it. You will get bored of that very quickly. Once you play through all the bosses and stuff like that, all of the villains, you'll realize that there's not a lot of content to that game. That game heavily relies on expansions, which they do not sell in stores a lot. And so that's one of those games where it's like, man, maybe the Kickstarter was a good idea to back, but then at the same time, another argument that could be said is, should I even play a game that needs expansions in order for it to be good? It's kind of like house rules, right? When you talk about like, oh, this game is good, but, if you add this house rule, the game is super playable. Well, the thing is, why isn't that a rule to begin with? How much playtesting did that game get? And now all of a sudden I've got this game that's only good if I make up rules for it. No, that's the games company's responsibility, is to make up the rules for all that stuff. So, when it comes down to that, it's like, man, Marvel United, is that even a good back? Because I know that the selling point of the game is in the expansions that you can only get through the Kickstarter. So it's almost like a little bit of a trap. For those things, I'd say, just pass on that stuff, man. Like, you don't need it. I'll tell you this. I did the full pledge, like the all-in pledge for the second campaign. I went all in on the X-Men stuff. I bought everything from the X-Men and everything from the first Kickstarter that I didn't get this time around. And honestly, I haven't played hardly any of it. I've played through a little bit of like the first Kickstarter and some of those characters, but I haven't played everything yet. I'm never going to get to the X-Men stuff. And then I almost backed the third season of it, but I'm like, bro, I never played this game. And so for me, I'm just at a place where I'm telling myself, you know what? I need to be careful with what I back, what I allow myself to back, because honestly, it's just not worth the money. You spend all that money for a game that you don't even end up playing, and it's such a waste in the end of the day. And then guess what happens? You go to sell it, and you can't get what you paid for it, right? Or you shouldn't even expect to sell it for that much, to be honest. Anytime you sell something used, the minute you drive a car off the lot of a parking lot, you buy a brand new car. The minute you drive it off the lot, it depreciates in value because it's used. The same thing is true with board games, you know what I mean? Charging more for a board game that's obviously used, I think depending on the rarity of the game, depends on whether you should do that. And we could talk about the moral issues behind that. It's like, should I be able to do that? But I don't think it's immoral, and I don't think it's wrong. I think if you want to sell your game for whatever you want to, and somebody wants to buy it for that price, that's fair. But the thing is, it's like, I just know for me personally, I don't feel like I could sell my games for what I paid for them, like at least a little bit cheaper. And there's some games that I want to get at least 40-50% back what I bought it for. But yeah, that's how it feels a lot of times with the FOMO. The FOMO starts to kick in, and you really want it, and it starts to kind of like pull away from your sensibility to be able to say, you know what, I can wait and find this game cheaper, right? So I'll give you another example of that. Heat, Pedal to the Metal. That game is so ridiculously hard to find. They're going to have copies of that game coming out soon. That's the type of game that it's like, man, I want this game so bad that I would pay full retail price for it. But I know for a fact that one of the stores that I go to, my local game store here in Florida, that they're going to sell that game for at least $60. Guaranteed when it comes out. And the reason why is because they've done that with all of their games. For example, Too Many Bones can be actually a pretty pricey game. You're looking at upwards of $100. But when Too Many Bones came out at that store, I think it was on sale for like $80 or $70 or $80 when it first came out, brand new sealed. And I'm like, I know my local game store is going to have it cheap. I don't know why they sell them so cheap, but they do. And so I should just find a game store that sells things cheap and wait on it, right? Like, wait for the game to come out, because if I pay full retail value for it and then the next day, it just feels so bad to come out the next day and find out, oh wow, look, the game was cheaper. That happened to me with Marvel Zombies. I backed Marvel Zombies. I think the core box was like $100 or $120 or something like that. The game store had it for $90, and I'm like, if I didn't back it, I could have just gotten the core box for $90 and see if it was a game that I liked, and then try to buy expansions for it. Secondhand market always exists. You could always try to get things there. Right now, I was talking to somebody they're doing like a virtual flea market for Dice Tower, and somebody was selling Nemesis for pretty cheap, and so I made an offer. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I might be able to get Nemesis plus all the Kickstarter stuff, plus Lockdown and all the Kickstarter stuff for like $200 or less. And those games in retail are about $200 brand new, and they have it like unplayed in shrink, and I'm like, dude, I could actually buy this game. You know what I mean? So like you'll find the stuff. Like don't ever think that you won't find them. And a lot of people are selling stuff for cheap. Not everybody's a price gouger, right? You will find it. You just have to wait and be patient. You know, think about how many games you could be playing right now, but you're so fixated on buying that one game because it's like, man, this is a game I've been trying to chase down. And then that game ends up being unplayed on your shelf for a long time. There are some people who are spectacular and they play every one of their games that comes out. And so, what is this? Oh, this is interesting. Defeated Tyrants. I wonder what this is all about. This is interesting. I don't know what that's all about, but the Age of Tyranny campaign components for Too Many Bones. Oh, there is a campaign. See, I didn't know that. I bought this and I didn't even realize what that was. This is actually pretty cool. Anyways, so yeah, another game. Like, for example, I just did a recent look at games that I've been on the hunt for, and one of them was Shadows over Camelot. That game, for some reason, is just being sold for like $100 to $300 right now. And that's a Days of Wonder game that when it came out, it was probably like $50-$60. So I'm like, why would I want to pay that much money for a game? And it's $100 used, right? But I waited on the virtual flea market. Somebody sold it to me and they were like, hey, $70, like new. It's only been played like maybe twice. And I'm like, would you take 60? They said, sure, sold. And I got myself Shadows over Camelot. So that game that I've been hunting for, that I was willing to like pay high money for, I was like, bro, let me just wait it out and see. Maybe I'll find it somewhere. And I did. It can happen for you too. You just got to wait and be patient. Find a local game store that doesn't charge or too much for their games. If you're looking for good websites, Amazon sometimes has games cheap. But Miniature Market is an amazing website that, not a sponsor, they can be though, Miniature Market. Game Nerds as well. Game Nerds, I'm here as well. Game Nerds has great deals on games a lot of times. They have their daily deals, which are usually sold out by the time I get to them. But who knows, you might find a game really, really cheap, and then you just pay $5 or $6 shipping, and you got it for less than what you would have paid for it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of games out there that are really expensive, and then when you buy them through Kickstarter, not only are you paying the full price of the game, but you're paying shipping as well. And you know, you're paying shipping to get that game shipped out to you, and you know shipping is terrible right now, and the rates are terrible. I think Chip Theory actually started a new thing with their campaigns now. For like Elder Scrolls, for example, the shipping is already included, that you don't have to pay extra shipping, and I think a lot of people went for that. I thought that was really cool. It's like, hey, I don't have to worry about them saying, well, now you got to pay $50 shipping or $100 shipping to get the game to you because prices just went up. And, you know, I understand gaming companies, man. I understand that because some of the game companies, they have a price that they had set, and they're like, hey, this is how much it's going to cost to ship. Then all of a sudden they get hit by that company that ships, that they get it shipped from, and they tell them, oh, no, it's going to cost more now. And it's like, do we take it out of our own money, or do we take it from the backers? What if we gave them a little extra something, which I think is a really good business practice, to just give an extra, like, expansion or something for free, and then just say, hey, if you buy this expansion and we sell it for X amount of money, we can make up the money to pay for the remainder of the shipping, or at least offset the cost. So, yeah, FOMO sucks, man. Like, the fear of missing out is just one of the worst feelings. It's like, man, I really, honestly, really need this game. You don't need it, right? You really, really want it, but you don't need it. Like, Too Many Bones. This game is old. Like, it's not even that new. I don't even remember the year that it came out, but here I am, years later, getting the game, playing it, and enjoying it. Like, I haven't really gotten a chance to play it. I'm excited to play it, but you know, like, I didn't feel like I needed to back it. You know what I mean? Same thing happened with Sleeping Gods. I've been so frustrated with that because I backed Sleeping Gods. I never played Sleeping Gods 1. So I was like, I couldn't find it in stores. So I backed it through GameFound. And then I'm like, oh, well, this is for part 2. Do they have part 1? You know what? I'll just buy part 1 and have them ship it out to me. No. But then, but what about part 2? And then what if part 2 is hard to find again? I need to do this. And sure enough, I backed it, got part 1 and part 2, and I'm waiting for that to come in. But the thing is, part 1 is going to come in with part 2. So because of that, now I saw Sleeping Gods on the shelves of my local game store for $60. And you know how much I paid for it? I paid $90. And that's so unfortunate that I could have gotten a $60 cheap or $30 cheaper if I had just said, I'll back the second one and I'll just wait for the first one to come out and I'll just purchase that, you know? Plus, not only that, as a content creator, it sucks because I wanted to like do a review of Marvel Zombies when it first came out. But the thing is, everybody was getting retail copies. I still haven't gotten my base copy because it's coming with all the expansions because they did 2-wave shipping, which absolutely sucked for me as a content creator because now everybody has already reviewed the game. The only way for me to review the game is for me to go buy a retail copy of it for $90 and then hope to sell my new copy when it comes in and try to get my money back from that. It's so frustrating. Things like that frustrate me. It's because it's like I ordered this game, I should be the first to receive it, but everybody else in the world is getting their copies before I did because they shipped it out to retail before anybody else. And so I've seen that happen a ton. It's happened with a couple of games that I've seen, and it is a frustrating thing, especially that when you know I should have this game in my hands right now, but instead everybody else has it. And I could have had Marvel Zombies, but you know what they charged me? They wanted to charge me 2-wave shipping, meaning I can get Marvel Zombies core game, but I have to pay $50 shipping to get that to my house, then $50 shipping for the expansions that would come at a second shipment date. And I was like, no, just ship them all together and pay one price, which is cheaper. And it saved me money, but now I get stuck. Everybody's playing Marvel Zombies, they have their copies, and I'm just kind of stuck waiting until October of this year. Not to mention that, you know, as much as you want to buy something and there's so many reasons to back something, doesn't mean you should. You know, there was a game that I backed and like it was a game that looked really interesting. It was called Agamonia. That was supposed to deliver last Christmas. I think it was supposed to deliver by like last year, Christmas time. They pushed it back, and now it's saying that it won't start shipping out till quarter 3, quarter 4 of this year. So it's been a whole year past when I ordered it, which it's been a year. So like I ordered it, I think in 2021. Then in 2022, I was supposed to receive it, didn't. And then now I'm going to get it end of 2023, maybe beginning of 2024. So it's like 3 years. It's a campaign game. I still want to play it. I'm still looking forward to it. I am going to review it once I get it. But the thing is that, dude, I have Gloomhaven. I've got Lord of the Rings. You know how many campaign games I have? I just found out Too Many Bones has a campaign. And I'm sitting here going, bro, I have all these campaigns. I've got Artisans of Splendid Vale. I've got Vagrant Song, which is somewhat of a campaign-y game. And I'm like, bro, I could be playing all these, but I keep ordering games. And then I'm never going to get them all played. So I think that's the main thing. It's like, be realistic with how many games you play per week, right? Are you a 9-to-5 gamer, right? Like, are you the type of person who works a 9-to-5 job and then games when you can? Like, be careful that you don't fall into FOMO because we're the people who get affected the most. Because I don't have the time to play all these games as much as I want to. I'm up right now recording this video. It's like I bet you any amount of money it's midnight. And I am tired. I want to go to sleep. I got to wake up early tomorrow, but I want to record these videos because I got to get my content out. And I've been learning how to play this game for the past 2 days. I couldn't even learn it and play it in a single game session because it just took me so long to go through the rules and read through everything, and I still don't have it 100% down. But, you know, like, do I actually have the time to play these games? And so it's like, I have to start asking those questions, you know what I mean? Another good important question is, you know, for all of you out there who have families and people, like, are we spending time with our families? Like, sometimes our hobbies can really get in the way of our relationships with our spouse, with our kids, with family, friends. You know, even though we want to have our friends who come over and they play board games, those are our friends, but sometimes we don't even have the time to do that. And sometimes hobbies can just get in the way of our relationships, so we have to be careful with that as well. You know what I mean? Like, I've been super busy this week, and it's been tough, and I want to spend time with my wife, but, you know, she had things she had to do, so she was gone for the evening, and it's like by the time we're done doing the things that we want to do, it's like now it's time for us to hang out, and we're super tired, and just it's not good for your relationships. It can cause a strain. So I don't know, man. I think that when it comes to like the board gaming hobby, there's a lot, and I think it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so keep track of that as well. But FOMO, we're talking about fear of missing out. I feel like I went on a tangent there, but when it comes to FOMO, man, I think the best way to do is just say, yo, can I find this at a cheaper price one day? Absolutely, you can. Can I find this on the secondhand market cheaper? Yeah, so just wait it out, right? Also, wait for reviews, man. Like, just because people review a game and say, this is the best game ever, you gotta back this thing, doesn't mean that it actually is. Like, what if it's like good at first? Because that's the thing with board games. Board games can be tricky because you can get an excellent play of a game and go, yo, this game is amazing. And then your second, third, fourth, fifth playthrough, you're like, oh, I'm just kind of tired of it, man. And it's kind of like, bro, you paid $60 for that game. You played it 3 times and got sick of it. That is not a good return on your investment, right? Like, you invested money in this thing. You need to get the money out of it. You know what I love about video games? Is that I can have a video game like, for example, Overwatch 2, which they're getting a lot of heat right now. But Overwatch 2 is a really fun game. I loved Overwatch. I like Overwatch 2. I play it. I have sunk, I want to say, hundreds of hours into that game, and that game is free. Like, it's free to play. You don't have to buy nothing. I love that for free. I'm getting that much play out of it. With board games, it's like I paid, what, maybe for this whole thing, $100, $200 for all of this? And for me to only play this twice and then it just sits there collecting dust, it's not a good investment. Unless I can I feel like if you should get at least an hour per dollar you spend out of a game, right? Like, I think that's a fair trade-off, that I'm paying $1 for every hour of enjoyment I get out of this game. If I get a $60 game, I should hope that I'm going to get 60 hours worth of enjoyment out of it, right? That may be too much, maybe $2, right? Like, I should get 30 hours out of a $60 game. Those are things to consider. It's like, how much investment, I'm investing all this money on all this Kickstarter stuff and I'm not going to play it. And right now that FOMO is kicking in and I know that I just really want to buy it because I see everybody else wants to buy it. But maybe it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, maybe it is not worth it because it's not gonna be a game that you're gonna play all the time. You know? I have a ton of games on my shelf that I feel like are like that I'm just like, bro, I never play this game and I spent so much money on it. Marvel Dice Throne. I didn't even really enjoy that game that much. And that I paid like $100 for that game. I did not get $100 out of that game. And I'm getting rid of the regular Marvel Dice Throne, or the regular Dice Throne Season 1 rerolled, because it's just not my style of game, because I'm just not a big Yahtzee type of person. But I kept Marvel Dice Throne because I'm like, I'm going to keep it in my collection because it's a Marvel game, so it looks cool. But, you know, like, I don't get a lot out of those games, and those are $100 games, and I did not get my playthroughs out of that. So that one was kind of a waste of money, and that was a FOMO thing. That was this is the only time you're going to be able to get that box, and if you get it in stores, it's going to be in these little boxes, and then you got to buy the little character packs. I don't feel like going through that. I just want to get it all in one shot. Oh, man, look at the inserts. They're so nice. Roxley, oh, my gosh. Roxley knows how to design components for games, man. They really do. And there's a lot of games that are like that, and it's just, I just need to make sure that I'm getting my money's worth and that I'm not wasting my time. And I'm not wasting my finances on something I'm not going to get any enjoyment out of. So when it comes to FOMO, how do you fight against it? Honestly, it's tough. It's different for every person. I would say find an argument that convinces you not to buy something and just try to bank off that thing, right? Are you a frugal person? Let it be the money that talks you out of it, right? Do you not spend a lot of time with family members? Say, you know what, I need to spend more time with my family, so I'm going to try to invest less in that, because not everybody's family is gamers, right? Like my family, they don't play board games. I'm the only one, and even my wife, she will play with me because she loves me. That's about it. She's not a gamer per se, but she likes certain games. There's certain games she actually enjoys playing. So I get to enjoy this hobby with my wife every now and then. But I have friends who like to play board games, but my family doesn't. So I can't force my hobby on my family. So what I have to do is I have to say, hey, no, you know what? Maybe I should spend a little less time playing games and more time spending time with my family doing other things, going kayaking or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, find other ways to invest your time, right? Find other hobbies, right? Get outside, play some basketball or sports or something like that. Go for some walks, stay healthy. Board gaming can be a tough hobby, man. So find your reason for why you shouldn't buy something and bank on that thing, right? Whether it's money, time, spending time with family. I could find this cheaper somewhere else, right? Check your local game stores. Don't fall into if you don't buy this, you're not going to get this game. Then don't get the game. There's no way that it's that good, right? If a game is great, it'll be out in retail. That's just the truth of it. If a game is that good, they'll do a second printing of it, right? Dwellings of Eldervale. I thought I'd never find this game. Come to find out, the developers are like, I know it was a sticky situation there because I know that the rights belong to like Plaid Hat Games or something like that, and then they had the rights to it and it didn't belong to the person who created it because they're at Cardboard Alchemy now, I think. Something like that. And so like the idea is like Dwellings of Eldervale, they weren't producing the game, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere they're like, hey, you interested in buying it? Third pre-order, right? They've already done 3 pre-orders of this. I bought my copy. It should be coming in probably this month or next month. So I'm ready to receive that game and play it. But I just got to be patient and wait on it. I can't rush it. And also, I don't want to buy it for like $200. I just don't think that's a good investment of my money. I don't think you should pay more for a game than what it's worth. That's not fair. And so I'd say those are a couple of good reasons why you should watch out for FOMO, right? It's going to kill you, man, in the end of the day. And so you don't want that to happen. So just watch out. Keep your eyes open and just look out for good deals. I know that was one of the videos that people are suggesting that we do, is to do a video on how do I find good deals. I can give you some secrets, and I can give you some websites that you can order from. There's one that I think is really good that you guys will really like. But check Miniature Market, check Game Nerds. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I think I talked a little bit too long, and I already unboxed all my stuff. I didn't realize that this was a campaign thing, and now that I've realized that, this is actually kind of cool. So I'm assuming that I'm going to have to do this. Oh, and I also got this one. I got the 40 Days in Daylore. And Daylore, from what I heard about this, is that you're supposed to just mix this in, and it's supposed to make the game more broad. Designed to make you think, laugh, and even occasionally test your dexterity. 40 Days is a collection of content that will add near infinite replayability to Too Many Bones. So there you go. So I don't know if I play Too Many Bones, then add this in to make it more replayable. And then I've got to add in this campaign stuff. I got 2 characters. I got Gilly and Nugget. But if I really, really enjoy this game, I'm going to buy Undertow expansion and some of the other expansions. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to be doing a board game review this weekend and also a live stream. So it'll be 4 videos this week. But just keep the views up. Don't forget to share this with people. If you know any board gamers and you're like, hey, have you ever checked out this guy, 9 to 5 Gamers? I would really appreciate that. The more subscribers we get, the more views we get, the more I can actually save some money to get some better equipment and better lighting and stuff like that. But I think the setup looks pretty good for now. But eventually I will create my own little studio. And but right now it's just not that situation. So you guys know, this is more like on a personal end for me. So if you're done watching this, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys can take off. But if you want to know a little bit more about my personal situation, I receive a lot of comments, people saying, man, your microphone is terrible, or like the visuals are off, your lighting is bad, and I can't see the backlighting and stuff, which I take all of those comments and I don't take them as criticisms on my part, but rather, hey, it would look really nice if this can help you out. I take all of those comments and I take them in the best way. Like, I don't take them as insults. But just so you guys know my limitations right now, if I turn this camera around, you would just see my kitchen, because this is where I'm at. This is literally my dining room. This is where we eat dinner. And my kitchen is right there. And I have a small house. And in this house, I have my master bedroom, and then I have another bedroom, but the other bedroom, my mother-in-law is living with us. She should be moving out, I guess, in the foreseeable future, but right now things aren't looking so good. In Florida, we have become the most expensive place to live, so my mother-in-law can't even find a place to live right now because it's just too expensive for one person to afford. So we're trying to figure out the housing situation, and right now she's living in the house, so it's like I'm sharing this house with her as well, so it's like she has to come out, she has to cook, and then since I'm set up right in front of the kitchen, I don't have the space to actually have a studio and record. So a lot of the things that I have are not, set up for that. So like I said, I just don't have the living situation right now to, have the crazy nice recording studio that a lot of other people have. A lot of people are really blessed with a lot of those things. I'm super blessed. I really love my setup, and I think it's great. I'm getting improved technology. If you give me like 2 seconds. All right, so right now I'm actually using a little $5 microphone that's right here. This literally bought this on Amazon for like $5-6. And if you think the sound quality is fine, then fantastic. I have wood floors in the house, so my dogs, when they make any type of noise, it echoes, and my house is really open. But anyways, so I got a new microphone from a friend who gave this to me, which I really appreciate him. He gifted this to me to utilize it for the channel. So once I can figure out how to get this thing set up, I'm gonna have a nice microphone. And he also gave me this thing. I don't even know what this is, but apparently this plugs into here. I don't know anything about this, by the way. I didn't go to college for this stuff, so I'm trying to figure this out on my own, which I feel like most YouTubers are doing that. But microphone gets plugged in, you can lower the volume, higher the volume, whatever. And then this is supposed to make the sound quality really, really good. Take out some of maybe the little bit of the echo or something like that. I don't know what this does, but something good is going to come out of this. So that's that. I'm just going to hang on to this for now. So like I said, I got a $5 microphone. I've got an older iPhone. It's not even an iPhone 14, which is the most up-to-date iPhone. So if you're watching this in the future, it's probably like the iPhone 20 by now. But the ring light that I got was a little bit of an upgrade, but before I was just using these little tiny lamp lights that are ridiculous. Like, my setup is not very great, but I did get this table for free, and I've been really blessed to get a lot of stuff for free. People have just been donating stuff to me, so let's make that happen. So if you guys get the opportunity to, and you want to give a super thanks or the memberships, it's going to help me upgrade a little bit. So if you are thinking about those things and it's like, hey, do something about the echo's too loud, you're right, I'm working on it. If I could show you my house, which I don't personally want to do, I think I'll just keep you right here. If I could show you, you would understand why there's so much echo and why this can be very difficult. Not only that, the timing of when I record is bad too, because sometimes I have to record at this time of night, and my mother-in-law is like right next door, and I can't make too much noise, and so sometimes in my videos I have to talk low, and sometimes I can express myself a little higher. So there's a lot more that goes into it. But anyways, this has been my board game chit chat. So we talked about FOMO, talked a little bit about new technology stuff that I'm getting, but I'm excited, man, and I love doing this. This is so much fun, and I really enjoy making content. So I'm going to keep it coming. Keep sharing these videos, keep liking, keep subscribing and commenting. Well, you can't subscribe more than once, but tell people to subscribe, right? Get 3 people to subscribe to this channel as soon as you can. And hopefully, man, I'll catch that break that I need so I can get some more subs and some more views, and we'll raise up the money we need to get us that new camera. Hopefully I can get 2 cameras so I can get multiple angles. I'm going to get a rig to do a downward look. I have something, but it just doesn't work very well. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and catch you on the flippity flip. Peace out. Oh, I didn't have my tea today. Man, I didn't have my tea. Where'd it go? I didn't have my tea, so it's all good. You guys know the deal. Peace out.